Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So we're back at it again. Today from Backbone Bourbon Company, we've got their light whiskey. So what exactly is this? So this is gonna be a single barrel. This is coming in at a whopping 130.8 proof or 65.4% ABV. This is called their Triple Down Light Whiskey. Basically triple 33 down. There's a little bit of story behind it, kind of a little bit of an interesting story how they came up with the 33 part of it. But this specifically is bottle number 54 out of barrel number 160. So these light whiskeys have in the last year or so really gained some popularity, and rightfully so. It's a nice profile on a whiskey, especially if you like something that's on the higher proof, the sweeter side of things. It offers just some different type of complexity and profiles, and it's really interesting. Plus, the one thing with this is it's a single barrel. There aren't always a lot of single barrel light whiskeys. They do a lot of blending with light whiskeys, so this will be interesting. So the mash bill on this one specifically is a 99% corn, 1% malted barley. So again, very high in the corn, so naturally it's going to be on the sweeter side of things. And the age statement on this one, on the back, it does give you a barrel date and a bottled on date, and it came out to about 10 years, 5 months. And in the light whiskey world, that's actually on the lower side of age on a lot of these things. There's a lot of them that are in that, 15 to 17 year range. So there are some that have some incredible ages and things to them, but I like kind of what it is that they've got going on with this specifically being a single barrel. Now, MSRP on this one, again, it's going to be right around that $50 price point, give or take, depending on where it is that you're able to find it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the color. So kind of like a light, I don't know, light copper, almost like an apple juice kind of look to this one. So, and again, high corn, 1% malted barley. So you're going to get a lot of just that aspect. And these are all going to be finished in, again, used bourbon barrels. So, that's one of the designations that allows this to not be technically considered a bourbon, because they are aging it in used bourbon barrels. So you're not always going to get a ton of color on the light whiskeys just because of what it is that they're aging it in. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the nose. Oh, so my first thought is like right away, like this nice like cotton candy note to it, almost like a confectionery sugar on it as well. Really nice vanilla notes. And again, these are sometimes very typical of what it is you will get with a light whiskey because of the high corn, that you're just going to get that extra sweetness that's there. Still a nice spice, and I guess I have to figure out a little bit of, is this actually like an oak spice or a spice in general, or is it more of the heat that I'm getting on the nose? It's not super dominant, but it is definitely there. Maybe even like a green apple aspect to it. There is some citrus that's on this as well. Maybe even, it's kind of a combined, I would say, between like the orange sweetness and more of a tart lemon type of those two kind of combined. Maybe even like a light chocolate of some sort. It's very light. And then here's kind of where some of the corn kind of kicks in. So you get this like almost like a cereal note to this, similar to a malted barley, but not quite that intense. Nice honey note on this, and again, that's coming from a lot of the sweetness that's coming off of this. Like fresh flowers. And again, like maybe almost like a cornflake aspect to it, like a cornflake cereal. And that like vanilla cake or vanilla cake batter, a lot of sweetness on this one. And again, that's what you get a lot of times with light whiskey, but they're interesting. It's a fun thing to kind of play with, sip on once in a while. It gives you some really nice proofs on it as well. All right, more importantly, let's see how this guy tastes. Cheers. All right, so some heat is going to be expected. 130.8 proof. Take your time with this guy. This is where you can kind of experiment a little bit. Add some water if you need to. Bring some of the proof down. One of the fun things about kind of monkeying around with a higher proof whiskey is it allows you to, if you want to proof it down, monkey around again with the profile of it, see what the water does to it. This proof gives you those options to do that. But you know, with this, again, that heat is like right up front, but quickly it kind of goes away, which is nice. It's not just sitting there and giving you that big, like, you know, heat hug or whatever it may be. But quickly you start to get into a lot of those like heavy vanillas that are on this. Still a nice spice. And again, I think it's still more of like a baking spice and not just the heat, because sometimes those two, when you're tasting a higher proof whiskey, you can kind of confuse the two or blend them together as that, you know, that heat is spice and vice versa. So yeah, I mean, not that it really matters. You can interpret it however you want. But you know, just know there is a little something that's there on this one too. So yeah, definitely some of that green apple. Citrus still is really nice on this. That cereal note is definitely present. Yeah, it's just a little bit of corn, of course. You're going to get that. There's a little bit of that corn aspect that's there on this. Leaves a nice hug on it, though. Not overly, you know, burning. Not like you have a heartburn or something like that. Really nice so far. Fresh fruits. That's what I'm trying to pull out of this. There's a nice fresh fruit aspect to it. And these would be mostly, in terms of the fruit, mostly like a green type of fruits, like maybe some, you know, pear, you know, green apple, things along those lines. We get a little bit of that like tartness, a little bit of that tanginess that's there. Still a lot of sweetness on this one though. And then kind of there late on this one, I got like a bit of a juicy fruit bubble gum aspect on that. A lot of sweetness, a little bit of spice, some nice heat on this. But you know, these light whiskeys, they can really take you on some kind of interesting journeys. They're more complex than we can kind of describe. I think you just have to get yourself a light whiskey and just try it. See exactly, you know, what it is that it brings to you, because these can offer, excuse me, a bit of a, you know, whiskey journey, and it really allows you to, or the whiskey kind of allows you to, you know, just kind of feel it out, so to speak. It's a really kind of interesting category in the whiskey world. And over the course of the last year or so, this being, again, just the first part of 2021, light whiskey has really gained in a lot of popularity. There's a lot of other companies that are doing some amazing things with light whiskeys. And this is just another example of what it is ultimately that light whiskey has to offer, you know, you as the consumer. So again, I think it's a really, really nice whiskey. And if we kind of get into the finish part of it, you know, again, you still have that, there's a little bit of that lingering heat, but again, the sweetness factor is definitely gonna be in play. The light fruits, that confectionery sugar, like more of like a cotton candy aspect to it. Light oak on these. Again, you're not going to get hit with heavy oaks because of how they're finishing them in used bourbon barrels. But again, a lot of the nice vanillas, things along those lines. A little bit of like lingering citrus. And again, there's the sweetness that you get from like an orange citrus and the tartness that you get from maybe like a lemon citrus. So a lot of kind of interesting, fun things going on. I like what it is that they're doing with the light whiskey category. If it's something that you haven't really explored, I highly recommend finding a bottle of light whiskey. And if Backbone, in terms of what it is that they're doing, this being their triple 33 down light whiskey, I think you'll be happy with it. I think it's just something that you have to separate this from like bourbons and scotches and all of that. It's, again, its own, animal. So you have to just interpret it for what it is and not try to get into comparing this to, other types of whiskeys. So just do yourself a favor and enjoy it for whatever it may be. So with that being said, again, from Backbone Bourbon Company, this is their 33, their triple down light whiskey, coming in at 130.8 proof. With that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in again to another one of my reviews. If I've done other reviews of the Backbone series, I will have them linked above and in the description below. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. And then also something a little bit new that I've introduced is the merch line. So the My Bourbon Journey merch line, some really fun things over there: sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve tees, hats, mugs, all of those kinds of things. So a lot of good stuff. So make sure you check out the link in the description below. Glassware as well. So a lot of good things. So with that being said, I want to again say thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. And as always, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.